Hey, what's going on, guys? Richie Fix here, back with another video, and today we are going to be going over some news/rumors. Yes, none of this stuff is official news. It's all more speculation and, I guess, borderline rumors. However, there be some people out there that are pretty confident in the rumor itself. And what are we even talking about? Well, that's what we're going to go over in this video. The whole long line of the history, what's going on, what's real, what's not, what we would want, what we could expect. What are we talking about? Jada Toys adopting / getting the license to Mortal Kombat. Man, if they acquired that, that would be just next level. And I'm so excited to talk to you guys about it. We're going to go over the whole thing and everything that's kind of happened and what's been going on. And yeah, let's just get right into it. Just taking a look at the first photo here, what do you see? You see Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat. And who is Storm Collectibles? They are a premium figure line. They are of high quality. They are of high price tag. And they were the main company distributing Mortal Kombat figures. Now, McFarlane did get the license to one of the later games. It's either Mortal Kombat 11 or 12. Hell, it might have even been 10. I did pick up a few of those figures, but McFarlane's got a McFarlane. They were good, not great. You know, McFarlane figure of Mortal Kombat. Just very limited selection on the figures and characters that you got. And ultimately the line just kind of died out and they only put out, you know, a select amount of figures. You got Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and a few others. It just wasn't a great line, just not enough consistency and variety of characters. But Storm, on the other hand, did put out a lot of characters. However, if you did not jump in this line immediately from the get-go, this line is just insane to collect because one, they don't reproduce any of the older figures. So to get them, a Sub-Zero, a Scorpion, a Smoke, any of the old robot ninjas, anything like that is just insane on the aftermarket. So to jump in on this line later is damn near impossible unless you were feeling, you know, unless you got the funds to spend for days to get some of these figures. I mean, you're looking at some of the expensive figures here. That Shao Kahn and Goro are damn near, for those versions of them, because they did release some new ones just barely, it's like $250 to $300 for those on the aftermarket. Along with the other ninjas, anything like that, super, super expensive. So, as you can see here, you know, the line has a durability, I guess, problem. As far as the problem with Storm, in my opinion, and this is just purely my opinion, I love Storm. Their figures are super nice. The quality, the imagery, everything, the accessories is super nice. It's just, it takes so long to get figures from them. I mean, we got this pre-order for the new Shao Kahn and the Goro that just barely came out like a year and a half ago. And throughout that time, I mean, you just lose a lot of interest. And then you start to reconsider the line. You just wonder if you really want to hop in on this thing because you can't even get some of the classic characters without spending so much money that you wonder if it's all worth it. And by the time you even get shipping notice from Big Bad or something like that, it's just, you know, you're ready to cancel because you're like, what am I even doing this for? You just get too much time to consider your purchase. And with these expensive figures, you know, that's not something that you want. But ultimately what happened is Storm released a list of all the licenses that they have been carrying, and one major name from that license list was missing, Mortal Kombat. So immediately people jump to conclusions, and it does seem that Storm has lost the license or is no longer going to continue making Mortal Kombat figures. And this is where our rumor starts. In this next photo here, you got to take with 100% grain of salt. This is where the rumor really comes in. So with Storm losing the Mortal Kombat license, what is the major toy brand that had recently picked up a fighting license and has absolutely killed it? Jada Toys, Street Fighter. You ever heard of it? No? Oh, okay, welcome to the channel. Jada Toys, I guess, and this is pure information that I received on YouTube. I got this from Nerdzoic, aka Big Nerdy. If you haven't seen that channel, go check them out. He had mentioned that there had been rumors and speculation, or no one got a screenshot, but Jada Toys had put out an image on Instagram of Mortal Kombat, and in the description it said, "Should we?" ? Now again, nobody got a screenshot of this, so I don't know if this is even real, but I just recreated the image, I guess, of what that would look like. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of where things took off from there, because everyone's like, oh, Jada. I mean, people have been saying that before anyways. Before Storm even lost the license, they've been begging Jada to try to get the Mortal Kombat license, because everybody's obviously been so impressed with their Street Fighter figures that obviously you'd want the next, or some people would argue the greatest fighting game out of all of them, Mortal Kombat. That's where things get interesting. And with everybody talking about Jada toys, and it definitely seems like the speculation and rumors are going to be true or are leaning in this direction, I took it upon myself to kind of make a mock-up of what the Mortal Kombat line would look like. Now, this is a very, very bad mock-up, bear mind you. I know, I just more wanted to kind of put the image of your head of what Mortal Kombat could potentially look like. Obviously, I think they'd go with the classic, the arcade cabinet. Just replace Street Fighter with Mortal Kombat. I put Scorpion down in the bottom left-hand corner now. This is a very bad mock-up. As you can see, I had to even use a Storm Scorpion in the middle. I thought a Skull Head would potentially come with him in the bottom left. You can't really see it there. I put not final on it because this is purely imaginatory. I just made it up. This is all me. This is not even images that are floating. I made this entire thing up, and I want to make that very clear that this is in no way official imagery of anything. I made this up pure myself. So just wanted to kind of give you that visual. Scorpion being from the depths of hell, obviously. We put that fire background behind him. I put the spear that slings out of his arm in the bottom left-hand corner. Now, granted, you could very well put a flame effect with his skull on this. I don't know what else you'd really want. I just really made this quick to kind of give you the imagery, but I wanted to talk about it because I think this would be awesome. But the main thing is, with Mortal Kombat having so many games, how do they approach this? Well, let's see what we got. And here is the roster of Mortal Kombat 1. Now, I start with Mortal Kombat 1 just because Jun is a classic guy, likes to stay with traditional games. He chose one of the earliest forms of Street Fighter. I could only assume if they get the official Mortal Kombat license to really choose whichever game they want to start with, they would not start with roster 1. As you can see, not a lot of options here. There's just really not enough variety here. I guess they could and make it a quick go around, but I think they'd want a couple more options here than what we got. You get Johnny Cage, Kano, Sub-Zero, I forget her name. I do know that's Raiden, Liu Kang, and Scorpion. Why can't I think of her name? But it'll come to me here in a second. But I don't think the very first game roster is where we're starting. Alright guys, next roster here is Mortal Kombat 2. Now this one's a little more diverse, does have a pretty big variety of characters, but it is not a ton. It's Baraka, Jax, Sonya Blade, whose name I couldn't remember in the first roster there, Katana, Kung Lao, Melina, Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, Raiden, Reptile, Scorpion, Shang Tsung, Sub-Zero, Kintaro, and Shao Kahn. Now, that is 15 characters, so that is pretty decent, but I feel like this roster, to me, I don't know. While classic, is it enough characters? I don't know. If we were really going to start somewhere, this next one is where I'd want to start. This next roster here, to me, this is the one, should Jada take on the Mortal Kombat line, me, personally, this is where I'd start. Now, you do get some characters in here that are returning. You get Jax, Kano, Kung Lao, Liu Kang, Shang Tsung, and Sonya Blade, and Sub-Zero. And then the new characters are the robot ninjas, as I'd like to call them. Cyrax, you do get Sector, and then we get Cabal, Nightwolf, Shiva, Sindel, and Curtis Stryker. Now, also in this roster, they were only accessible via secret code, but they are playable Noob, Saibot, and Smoke. So you get a ton of characters, a lot of diversity there, and then some of the big bosses, you get Motaro and Shao Kahn. So I love this line as far as the lineup for the roster. There's just a lot there. You can play around with it for a while, and there's plenty to do as far as releasing figure-wise. I mean, you got a lot of ninjas, you get some of the new sectors, you get some really cool effect pieces, a lot of diversity. I just think this roster here is where I would want to start. Now, I do think there are some characters on here that I didn't list, like, I forget the cat Goro name, but, and I don't think Goro was on there either. I think this is MK3 Ultimate roster. I couldn't find one of the original rosters for the MK3, but You get the idea. It's just there's a lot there. You got the cyborg ninjas, you got the normal ninjas. You get some good bosses, and there's just a lot to work with here. You get the girl ninjas. I mean, there's just a lot here. A lot to work with. If I was Jada, this is where I would start. There's just enough here to really keep you happy and full for a while. It's just to kind of wrap everything up in as far as this whole speculation, rumor, that you have. I mean, that's all that we can call it right now. Unfortunately, is just a rumor. But are there things that are making it seem like it's becoming more of a factual statement? Sure. You got Nerdzoic reporting that there was a mysterious Instagram post that Jada said, "Should we?" with the Mortal Kombat logo, which shows they have interest in the line. 2, the fans have been clamoring for Jada Toys to get this line for a long time. So there's that. Obviously, there's a lot of customers that are impressed with the Street Fighter, would love to see Jada tackle the next best, or some would argue the best fighting game out there as of right now. 3, Storm seems to have lost the license to Mortal Kombat, so obviously that leaves them up for grabs, and Jada obviously knew that there was a clamoring for them to pick up this line. And more, 4, where's June? Where are the interviews? Why have we heard nothing from Jada Toys in months? We have heard no new updates about the Street Fighter line. We have not seen June since January. And there's just been not a lot of news figuring out. So, does that mean they're scrambling to get things ready with this Mortal Kombat line to make a big announcement for SDCC 2024? It really seems like it, guys. I mean, that really seems like what's happening here. It makes sense. You're putting little pieces of the puzzle together. Haven't heard a lot from Jada. They're trying to get things in motion with maybe this new line, and this is all speculation. Nobody knows for sure that Jada has acquired this line, but it does seem very, very probable. So again, I want to mention that neither this Instagram post or this image of this figure are official by any means. Self-created by me on this one. I didn't even take them from the internet or anything. These are all purely created by me, so I can officially say these are not official posts. Now, Big Nerdy did report that he had seen many things and heard many things about Jada putting out a post that they were interested in the Mortal Kombat line with the caption that said, "Should we?" But there's no actual clip or anything like that that shows that actually happened either. But he feels confident in his sources to make a video on it. So I, of course, had to dabble in here and kind of give my 2 cents on it. It does seem very, very probable, and it would make a lot of sense on why we haven't heard from Jada Toys in such a long time. So, I mean, what are your guys' things? What roster would you want Jada Toys to make? Would it want to be, well, obviously, I think they'd start with one of the earlier games, either 1 through 3. 2 or 3 seem to be the most probable, as they have a sizable enough roster to really dig their teeth into the line. 1 just doesn't seem like there's enough characters there, but 2 and 3, it just seems like there's enough there to really get things going. Would you want the classic cabinet case to kind of stay coincide with the Street Fighter line, or would you want all new packaging as far as not really going with the arcade cabinet? What would you want the first characters to be? If I had to pick, that's one thing that I feel like we never got. There was just never enough variety of characters, and the way Jada moves, they're going to make the whole roster of whatever game they choose. I think I would want to see, as far as a deluxe figure, obviously Goro or Shao Kahn. You got to get Scorpion and Sub-Zero out, and then as far as they usually choose like an abstract character, I'd love to see like Jax or Sonya Blade. But I mean, there's so many ways they could go. I mean, they have enough body molds. I mean, you could take the freaking Fei Long character mold and just tweak that minor, and all of a sudden you got a Liu Kang. So, I mean, they could really get things going on this line very, very quickly with the molds that they already have from the Street Fighter line. I mean, Jax could very well take DJ and Bison's body molds, as them being a bigger mold, and just retool that a little bit. I mean, they could really get this thing cranking out fast. And should they get this license and start making Mortal Kombat, Jada Toys, if not already, is in serious contention in being a major competitor with Hasbro and Mattel and all these other lines. I mean, they already are, but this would really just solidify them as a major action figure brand, as they have only really done Street Fighter, Mega Man. They have a couple other licenses they've obtained. I can't think of their name off the top of my head. And then they have like the cereal and the mascots. So should they get this, they're really being serious and getting this thing up as far as making Jada more an action figure line. And then I don't know what happens with the diecast and everything. I'd assume they keep that line, but I mean, production staff and everything would really have to crank up on their end as far as a business model. So I don't know if they're really wanting to take on that next step. June had mentioned in other past live streams that they were kind of keeping things low-key and seeing just what could happen. So I don't even know that they could really get things going with Mortal Kombat if they have the production staff to really get this going, to take on such a major line alongside with all their many licenses and different things that they're working on. Could they even handle Mortal Kombat could be a good question to ask. I personally think they could, because they wouldn't really have to steer too far from what they already have from figures in retooling just some of the molds that they already have from the Street Fighter line. So guys, a lot of questions in the comments below. A lot of comments I want to hear from you guys. What game should they start with? What 3 characters or 4 characters do you think they should make first? Would you want to see similar packaging to kind of keep it along the same lines with the Street Fighter? And do you think this is even real? Do you think it is seems like it's very possible. Are the puzzle pieces all matching here for them to make the big announcement at SDCC? You got to let me know in the comments below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. It was a little bit of a longer one, but hey, just remember, this is not official news. This is not an official statement from Jada Toys. There is nothing out there that confirms that this is factual, but it is a topic and a rumor that's been floating out there that I felt like this needed to be talked about on my channel. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Richie Nation. Richie Figs. Later.